Welcome to No Question About That. This is the Tactics Show with Dharnish. No Daniel today. He is partying somewhere. And I'm Ed. How's it going, Dharnish? Back from Spain?
Yeah. Yes, I'm back. I'm back from Spain, unfortunately. Back to cold UK, and currently halfway through Ramadan as well. So you're getting used to like having lots of energy in the evening and almost none in the morning and in the day. But yeah,
having a fast for a long time. Don't visit Elland Road anytime soon. Is my advice to you.
Why?
Because they seem to have a problem.
That was a joke. Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Why? Twats.
I mean, they put it on the board as well, so they probably made it more angry. But
that could be a whole pod in itself. Jim Ratcliffe was there.
Jim Ratcliffe was booing, was encouraging the
probably.
booing. Hey, what the hell is this? What on earth are they doing? They're drinking water.
Disgusting.
They're drinking water. They're taking all our jobs.
Oh, there's a shortage of water in Yorkshire, isn't there? It never rains there, ever.
Mm.
All right. Well, there was a banner in the Stretford End, said MUFC proudly colonised by immigrants. And a couple of immigrants scored United's goals today. Benjamin Sesko, Bruno Fernandes. We're going to talk about the tactics, what went right, what went wrong, what Carrick changed a little bit. And then we'll think about Newcastle ongoing because I have a bit of a problem down the left-hand side with Shaw, Martínez and Dorgu all out. We don't have any left-footers anymore, apparently. All right, so it seemed really flat in the first half. What was your take on why United were so slow and were unable to break down Crystal Palace's sort of tactics? And in fact, why Palace were able to take the game to us for half an hour?
Probably the worst half under Carrick, I would say, by far. Everton was pretty atrocious as well. It's just the difference is when Everton had the ball in attack, they're like, hold on, what do we do here again? There was nobody there. And Palace's team is set up and designed to create counterattacks and to create moments where they can break quickly because they have fast players like Ismail Assar, or they have their new hold-up striker, Larson, who can back...
Larson.
Yeah, can back... Yeah, I know.
They paid so much money for him and he's aggressively mediocre, yeah. Maybe eat our words later, but I just don't see much in him.
Why did they pay that much, by the way?
Desperation. I think they thought Mateta was going and then a knee injury scuppered the transfer to Milan. I think that's why. But Wolves are also desperate.
They probably knew that they had the Guayi money already there. So it's like, well, I mean, what are you going to do? But anyway, United were really, really flat and just really, really poor the first 45 minutes. Things were different in the second half, but it was largely due to just really, really poor progression from defence. Every time Dalot had it wide, he would try and nip it through the middle. Didn't work. Luke Shaw the same. Lenny Yoro the same. Or if there's a progressive pass on, say, from Yoro to Bruno Fernandes in the middle of the pitch, Yoro doesn't, number one, try it because he can't do it, or number two, feels that he has the confidence or the ability to do it because he's not Lisandro Martínez. But then also, I would say, Palace had a 3-2 shape whereby if you go wide to your fullback, number one, we're going to push our fullback up to press him whilst having the striker just next to him, and then we have 5 players surrounding Casemiro and Mainoo.
Yeah.
Which basically means you're not going to nip the ball through to Casemiro and Mainoo. Even if you do, and they wriggle out of too tight spaces, we're going to go close to Bruno Fernandes. When we go close to Bruno Fernandes, we're going to limit space in the middle. Yeah. It happened against Everton as well. Limit them in the middle, and then as soon as they get the ball wide, get somebody up there and press them, which means you limit them wide. Which then means, okay, what can we do now? I don't know, do you want to try a long ball? And it's a new tactic that out of possession managers are trying, and it's very successful. Nuno is doing it. Moyes is doing it. Nigel Farker to a degree is doing it because you cannot just sit in a mid to low block anymore. Nigel Farker?
Daniel Farker.
Why did I say Nigel?
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's his younger brother or something. I have no idea.
Sorry, no, Daniel Farker. Daniel Farker, Leeds manager. Yeah. But they're doing it because it's, number one, you can't sit in a mid to low block for the whole game. And number two, when you put your defenders under pressure and you put specific defenders under pressure who are not that good at getting the ball from defence into midfield, then you will get a turnover, which is kind of what was happening. But then on top of that, the passing from defence was just plain bad. And the Palace were getting a decent amount of space in the middle of the pitch, because the United's front three were half pressing, half not pressing more when they went wide, and then if Ismail Assar dropped, Strand Larsen didn't need to do the same because he was busily tussling with Maguire. Ismail Assar dropped in a few times, or they went long a couple of times. I think maybe when Pino came on, it was a different story as well. But Euro had a very difficult game in doing that. But they found some space because their strikers were dropping off and receiving passes from the defence in the middle of the pitch, which is basically what their entire game plan in attack is based around, is hold-up play, link-up play, dragging a defender in, and then you play off him.
Yeah, it was noticeable how it was basically 2v1 on Mainoo, and we couldn't get the ball into him. I don't know how much of that is the lack of Martínez in there, because he's just so snappy with the passes, isn't he? He's fizzes the ball into Mainoo. Mainoo wriggles out of tight spaces. But also, it just seemed kind of noticeable that Mainoo was ahead of Casemiro in the first half, right? And it's just much more effective when he's the player taking it off the back four and Casemiro's a bit further forward. I don't know whether that was a plan. It didn't work, really. And so, yeah, United definitely struggled with that. I mean, nominally they're 3-4-3, aren't they, Palace? But not really, just because those wide players are dropping in. So
it's a flexible enough shape. Sometimes it can be a 5-3-2. And he's changed it to a 5-3-2. Before it was a 5-2-3, which was disastrous, because it's like, hey, look, guys, there's only two players in the middle of the pitch. I'm just going to knock it around you.
Right.
But the other reason they struggled was because the spaces were out on the wings, right? On the outskirts of Palace's central press. But whenever they got Dalot or Shaw involved, again, the passing just wasn't good enough down the line or in the middle of the pitch. Things did improve in the second half, but they largely improved because of a 15 or 20-minute spell where they just got a little bit more intense, really. There wasn't... I need to go back and look at some of the footage again and see whether he tweaked many of the tactics. I think maybe he might have instructed Cunha or Mbeumo to drop off a little bit more, which is interesting because I just want to highlight this, and I hope I'm not waffling here too much. When Šeško didn't play, it felt like Cunha and Mbeumo dropped deep to be an extra man in build-up, right? To combat the clogging of the middle and to combat if you stop Bruno, you're going to stop most of their attacking play, which is okay. I'm fine. I'm all fine for Cunha and Mbeumo to drop and help the ball get from defence into attack. But it's interesting that they didn't do that when Šeško was playing. I thought it would be the opposite, right? Because now you have Šeško to pin somebody up there.
Right.
In defence. So Mbeumo, Cunha, please come back. We can't get the ball from defence into attack. I'm going to have to look back at the footage more to see whether he did do that in the second half. I feel like he did. Maybe Fernandes did too.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I did think it was interesting when Fernandes was dropping into the wide spaces and Cunha moving a bit central. That probably makes a bit more sense in terms of chance creation. The other thing Carrick said about Cunha is that they've been working with him on when to attack wide spaces and when to come inside. And I think it's noticeable how much better a player Cunha is when he's got two options, right? He can go outside and go inside. And when he attacks a player on the outside, as he did with Munoz a couple of times in that second half, the defender doesn't know which way he's going. When he always drops into the zone 14, like number 10 spot, which he wants to do, it's just a bit predictable, and you end up with a lot of players in that space. And so that's kind of interesting from Carrick that, I mean, he said Cunha thinks deeply about his own game. That's a good sign, right? As long as he's not thinking too deeply and getting all, analysis paralysis about this. But I would like to see Cunha go on the outside a few times. It will help him, certainly. It would also really help him if he had someone going on the outside of him, like overlapping. I mean, when Marcus Rashford was at his very best, he had Luke Shaw bombing up outside him. When he scored the 30 goals, he was able to come centrally. Luke Shaw went on the outside. When Shaw was injured the season afterwards, Ten Hag put Rashford really wide. We didn't even have a left-footed left back at that time. It was Amrabat playing in there, or Lindelof and some other twats. And I kind of feel the same with Cunha as well. He is dangerous coming inside because we know how good he is from shooting from long range. But if that's the only option, you can stay very narrow. And so that's the interesting one. I don't know how we solve that. Depends on how long Luke Shaw's out for. But if it's a broken metatarsal or something like that, he'll be out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Martínez should be back for Newcastle, it sounds like, which will help.
I mean, I think we'll need him back for that game.
Yeah, it'll help a lot. It just helps so much with how fast United play.
Yeah,
they were just so slow as well. You're like, quick,
slow and tepid
move.
in the first half. Yeah, it was miles different to the second half. Obviously, it was. How early was the red card? I want to say about 7-8 minutes
after the restart. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or maybe it could be 10, I don't know. But one action changed the game, basically, and that's what your game winners do. That's what the best players in the league do. That's what the best players in the world do. And Bruno Fernandes does it week in, week out. It was one pass that he found Cunha into the half space in. Cunha does well because he sells it. He sells the foul, and he sells the foul inside the penalty area. Could have easily have missold PPI outside the penalty area, but he didn't. Fell inside the box and got the penalty. And that basically from there changed the game, because we had, I think, around about 10 or 15 minutes after that where they were like, this is kind of our game now, we're going to dictate the tempo. Even the goal, it didn't feel like we were scoring much from open play today, unless it was a cross, unless it was a, can we bang one on Šeško's head? And they did in the end.
And they did, and it's a perfectly legitimate tactic. I mean, Bruno put that ball in, and Bumo put another one in that Sesko didn't quite get hold of in the same way. I was kind of surprised in the first half they didn't do that more often, right? It's not like he's a big man, therefore you have to launch it at him, because as we saw with the goal against Everton, he's a big man, he's fucking quick as well.
Mm-hmm.
But put more crosses into him. Why not? They didn't even play the ball into him. He got 7 touches in that first half. So, which is just not enough.
7?
Just 7. Yeah. It seems to me like, of all the challenges we've got, I mean, we can go really deep on what the build-up looks like under Carrick, but solving the problem on the left-hand side, finding a solution that doesn't mean we're totally asymmetric is one of the big problems. And then if Sesko's going to play up there, like how to get the ball into him more often. And without Ahmed, you don't have real width, because Mbeumo wants to come into central areas as well.
Yeah.
So, don't know what the solution is to that. Maybe play Ahmed at left back. Crazy.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it's either that or you tell the fullbacks that we have to bomb forward more often. But I think that the fullbacks that they have here right now, they're in there more for their defensive capabilities, I would say, rather than their attacking ones. There's also the problem of
Dallo is bombing forward. It's just he's like the quality of his.
It's
passing.
not the best. Yeah,
it's terrible, it's the unforced stuff as well. It's not even like he's under pressure.
He has gotten better under Carrick, I would say.
I thought he was good against Everton.
There was a couple of moments where he just handled it, or he just saw it out against Palace's winger. He's definitely markedly improved, but I mean, the width and the runs in behind are clearly a problem, because you kind of have to play Cunha and Bumo and Šeško. I would say they're the best front three, and they haven't actually played that much together at all.
No, they've got an incredible amount of points though since Carrick took over. I think it's Sesko's won us 10 points and Bumo 6 and Cunha 3.
That's what you sign a new attack for. That's why you replace Garnacho, Højlund, and Rashford and got a brand new attack. Yeah, and Anthony as well. That's why.
But although Anthony scored again today.
See, but that doesn't matter all of a sudden, because we're doing well.
You know who else? I switched over to Betis Sevilla, the Seville derby. Beautiful city. Love that place. And
not been.
Anthony scored, and so did Alexis Sanchez, and then Adnan Januzaj came on late in the game. There you go. Old
Bit
school.
Bit of nostalgia.
Not nostalgia for what? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, okay, players that used to play for us then, and not nostalgia.
Yeah. That's right. No, look, the point is totally fair. United have had a big upgrade in terms of the output we got last season. I think Sesko is proving to be a really excellent purchase. Carrick underplays it all the time. He's still learning. He's just getting used. He's getting his feet under the table here. He's still learning how to play for United. And then Sesko's banging in goals, and all kinds of goals as well.
Yeah. He's really turning into a poacher. And and a finisher, and he's using that height. It's something interesting. Like, he used to bang goals in from 40 yards, and we've not really seen that.
We're not seeing it.
We've seen like deft touches and headers and some really good striker finishes, like really, really good striker finishes, right? I would say most of the goals. I'm thinking of ones against Fulham, West Ham,
brilliant goals.
Everton, they're like
Everton first touch,
clean poacher goals. We haven't had a number 9 like that since Cavani, I'd say.
I think that's
even the bullet headers today. It was brilliant. Just
brilliant header.
A striker to finally aim at in the middle of the pitch. And there's nothing wrong with it. I want to see how many headed goals we've scored, because again we looked threatening from corners as well. Or
Casemiro should have done today. If you go back and look at the highlights reel of Sesko at RB Leipzig, banged in loads of long range thunder bastard goals. He's got a real hammer on him, but we've not seen it so much from him. But it doesn't matter. I don't care what kind of goals he scores. I think there's plenty to come from him. It depends a little bit on the kind of tactical profile that Carrick wants for these last 10 games. Of course, 10. I think it's 10. But United are in a great position, and whether Sesko scoring goals off the bench or starting doesn't seem to matter, really. I do like him being in there. I just think United should have used him more. I guess that's a lot to do with the struggles with building up and getting it through the thirds, and weren't getting it into, and that wasn't quite functioning. What did you make of the midfield? Like, between them, Mainoo and Casemiro had 200 something touches, so they got a lot of the ball, and it feels like a nice balance of profiles, but Palace were able to get behind them quite a few times.
A lot. Well, I think mainly in the first half it was from missed passes, to be honest. But then also it was because, like, what United have done under Carrick is we've got 4 players very close to each other. We can just knock it around them in tight spaces and squirm the ball through. When that doesn't work, the opposite of that is we're getting overloaded and we're losing the ball. So now there's this team that's actually coming in behind us. And then in the second half as well, I felt like there were times where even when they were down to 10 men, they were still getting space in the middle. It's because I think they were still searching for a second goal, which is great. I'd love seeing that more. Not second goal, sorry, third goal after the Šeško one. I prefer to see that a lot more rather than the under siege mentality that we've had under Amorim and Ten Hag, obviously, because could have scored a couple of times towards the end. But there was a few times where, because everybody was bombing forward, Palace kept getting space in behind by dropping a striker in. And it seemed like that in the first half as well, because sometimes Casemiro would rotate, push up front rather than be in his position, which leads Mainoo to cover the space of 20 to 30 yards. And that's not really his job, that's Casemiro's job. So it's like, it's the give and take of, we need to find some solutions, we're not getting any space, but then we leave ourselves susceptible to more transitions and more space in the middle. And I felt like Palace don't build up wide, they will always drop a striker very, very close into midfield, and they pounce on that a lot. I'll say that again, almost all of their attacks start from that. Almost all of their attacks are based around Jean-Philippe Mateta doing that. I've seen a lot of Palace footage for a piece I did. I don't remember for who. But they smelt blood, and they knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. They missed Mateta today because I think he's a better physical profile than Strand Larsen. I still don't understand it. It didn't make it.
I think they just wanted someone tall and big. I don't know.
Ismail Assad's a good player, though, and he caused United some problems.
Ismail Assad caused us some problems as well. Adam Wharton as well. He was finding quite a bit of space in our midfield in the first half as a result of, I think, them pushing up. Casemiro trying to push up more or trying to force the issue more, go direct more, and they, I think, controlled more of the tempo than what we did. It was a bit messy.
Definitely, he is very good tempo controller, Adam Wharton. Obviously, brilliant passer, especially when he gets into those sort of little half spaces, whether the defensive one or further forward. Very snappy with the passing. The physical profile, though, I said it before, I don't know that that's the right balance for United. I think if Mainoo is someone we're going to bet on longish term, then you need someone who's pretty physical alongside him, don't you? And it doesn't feel like Wharton's the balance there, but a great passer.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you bring him and Mainoo in, you can start dictating games more.
That
don't know.
would be true. Yeah,
And
you'd have more control.
controlling the tempo together. 2 tempo setters. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think the short and long of it is, yes, okay, the first half was bad, but this team, just because of the form that they're in and because the strikers are scoring, Šeško is on absolute fire right now, and because you have one of the best chance creators in the world closer to goal, the manager has given him the confidence. They don't believe that there isn't a game that they can't turn over or get something out of. And at this point of the season, I don't care if you don't like this or not, results matter more, okay? Absolutely, they matter more. Look at if you don't think that's true, go look at Mikel Arteta today after the Chelsea game. He literally puffed his cheeks out and shook Liam Rossinia's hand, even though they were probably not. I don't want to say that they were in control of that game more. They were probably in that game a lot more than what Chelsea were for large periods. Even though Chelsea had a red card and everything, that's just the stage of the season where we're at now. It's. Can I say it's squeaky bum time now?
Yeah, I think 10 games to go. It's squeaky bum time. That's totally fair enough. Yeah, 2 goals from corners today for Arsenal. Just again, their highlights reel this season just going to be corners, isn't it? They were in control of that game. I mean, I know Chelsea got the equaliser pretty quickly, but I don't know. I mean, and they scored and it was offside. It was plenty offside though, so there wasn't really much debate about that. And a pretty dumb red card. They've got so many red cards this season, Chelsea.
9.
That's
9
poor
red
discipline,
cards.
that is.
I went through all of them for a piece I did. It was just, It's so funny how wild they are. Like, they're just like, they're either last minute actions preventing a goal scoring opportunity or just some player goes wild and has a whack. It's weird.
Pedro Neto today gets the first yellow card for a sarcastic clap at the ref. And then the second one that's an orange, that one. He absolutely flew in, didn't he? I don't know why he was complaining. He seemed to suggest he got the ball. The ball was in a different postcode when he went in for the tackle. Anyway, yeah, very, very dumb from Chelsea. They may be saved in terms of the Champions League places by Aston Villa dropping off so much. They seem cooked, don't they, Villa? Well, regress to the mean, right? They are now underperforming their XG over the last 3 games where they were massively overperforming it beforehand. All right, what have you seen of Newcastle this season before we head off?
Up and down. He doesn't. I've seen a lot of their games against Manchester City, and I've seen a lot of their games against teams where I used to think Eddie Howe is a little bit of a wuss because pressing at home against St James's Park is just absolutely daunting. Like it's quite scary to deal with. But they don't really have a lot of good technical players. And once you take out their aggression and their fight in the middle of the pitch, because I know Gimares has been injured a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's back now. I'm not sure.
He wasn't back against Everton, so I'm not sure.
Okay, then yeah. Once you take that out and you can soak up pressure, they don't have as much as what they used to or as much as what you think they should have. There's Tonali. Tonali is really, really good.
Yeah.
But then he's also doing this thing where before he was like, I don't know whether I should press at home. I don't know whether I should press all the time with this team. So he would go 4-5-1 mid-block. But then this season he's pressed more, but then I can understand why he has in the past not pressed as much as he has, because it's left a lot of gaps in behind and then you can quickly break on him on the counter, which I like because we did that against Man City really well. I feel like we could do the same against them.
I think that's fair. Without Guimaraes, they're a lot less physical. Joe Linton was moved over to the left. They shifted Anthony Gordon up front for a couple of games. Voltemada has gone into this sort of link role, shadow striker. I guess it kind of suits his profile, but it feels like they must have. I guess they're putting Gordon up there because they want the pace.
But he's not strong enough.
No, he's not.
He's too weak.
You wonder whether they wouldn't be better shifting Joe Linton back into midfield, having Visser up front, or Wisser, I guess, and Gordon back on the left, especially if, I guess it depends a lot on whether Martínez is back. Maguire on the right, Martínez on the left, or Maguire on the left and Yoro on the right. It does change how much pace United have at the back. You'd bring Martínez straight back in for the passing, of course.
They really get up for big games, is what I would say as well. Like they really, really love a big game.
St James's Park does, yeah.
It tends to cover up for the dross that he normally produces. So, I would love a big win at Newcastle or even
Any win, as you say, but a big one would be nice.
Any win, a big win. But I mean, it just, the form that we're in, it feels like we're hitting it at the right time. What are we, March now?
Yeah.
There's not much time left. There shouldn't be too many more results that we need, I think, to secure a Champions League place with the way things are going. Villa, Chelsea.
Yeah. It's now, well, we're now 3 points ahead of Villa, no? And 6 to 6th place or whatever it is. I mean, I think we'd have to really blow it from here, which of course is possible. Yeah, I Newcastle are not playing well. They're up and down. They just lost to Everton. They have injury problems. They spent a hell of a lot of money on new forwards that haven't replaced Isak, basically, which is causing them all sorts of problems. You can see that in the number of goals. They have problems. They look much better when Livramento is fit. He's never fit. Trippier's about 900 years old and playing at the moment. So they do have a lot of challenges. They've also got some good players. Malik Thior's a good player, I think. Tonali, good controller, sort of hybrid 6'8". Just not as good as they were last season. And United are set up perfectly for hitting them on the counter if they do try and aggressively press us. Which, again, you kind of look at the profile of players and you think, I don't know whether they will. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, what, hit us on the break or us hit them on the break?
We hit them on the break, if they aggressively press us.
They have no pace in their back line at all.
None. Yeah.
So I'd like that. I also would love when was the last time we won there? Feels like ages.
I'm blanking on what it was last season. It was draw last season, wasn't it? They beat us at Old Trafford.
No, we got walloped at St James's Park.
We got walloped at St James's? Right, yeah.
I mean, we had Amorim, so what do you expect?
That is very true. Yes, I forget our record against Newcastle. It would be nice to get a good victory there. I think we're set up for it. We seem to be finding results.
Oh my God. I just Googled it. Guess when the last time was when we won there, St James's Park?
You see, I cannot remember when we last won there.
2020.
2020, bloody hell. Ollie. Well, there you go. Carrick.
4-1. 4-1 it was.
All right. Reports over the weekend that the players are delighted with Michael Carrick, that he is, because he's a former player. Well, I know Amorim was as well, but he just has a much more paternal sense to him, gives them days off after big games, lets them go fly off to see their families, these immigrants that have colonised Manchester, and shorter, sharper training sessions, which are keeping the players more interested. Obviously, good vibes when you win 6 in 7, as we have been. He's also reports this weekend that Julian Nagelsmann is prepared to discuss terms on the job. Who knows whether that's real or not? Who knows whether
that's true?
Yeah. I mean, sports journalism is the one area where you can absolutely print anything you like without any comebacks, apparently.
That's not what I do, but yeah.
No, you're one of the good ones, Dharnish. Yeah.
Yeah,
occasionally. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And then massive gap to the next game. After that, it's just I hate it when you've got so much time off, but we will have.
Is it an international break? I think
it's another international break. Yeah,
just at the worst time.
Yeah, well, although a couple of players injured and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, 11 days off until the home game against Villa, which could basically seal our place in the Champions League. I think, given that we will have 5.
Who would have said that after what we've been through
on the 1st of January? Would you have said 2 months later we're pretty confident we got a slot in the Champions League?
Enjoy. Everybody enjoy. All right, look, there's problems with Carrick, whatever. Just enjoy it.
I don't think the problems are that much that wouldn't be solved by having a bit of a more balanced squad, which they are going to do in the summer.
Yeah.
And if we're in the Champions League, there's a ton of money that can be spent. There's capacity to do it. If Sir Jim hasn't got sick of all the protests and people pushing back against his particular agenda. Deary me. All right, Dharnish, I think we'll leave it there. Welcome back to Blighty after your many weeks in Madrid.
What's Blighty?
Blighty, England.
I've never heard that
You've
before.
never heard that term?
No. Blimey. I've heard of Blimey.
No. Old Blighty is England.
Old Blighty, yeah. Well, Old Blighty is great.
I'm just going to keep coming out with these idioms now and seeing if I can confuse you. Because what did I say? as the actress said to the bishop the other week, and you were like, what does that mean?
What the hell was that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's just innuendo.
You've confused me a lot, Ed.
That's my plan, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well, good victory for United today. Mediocre performance. Well, it got a lot better, I would say.
Yeah.
From half an hour onwards, yeah. Half an hour onwards. Maybe Michael Carrick knows what he's doing. We'll see. Listeners, thank you very much. You can check out the extra show on patreon.com/NQATpod. Dharnish is all over the internet writing about tactics. NQATpod.com/newsletter for my twice weekly Substack. Thank you very much. See you next time.